Hi everybody. We just finished up another Voting Yogis, and if you don't know, Voting Yogis is a weekly yoga class that is dedicated to tapping into the wisdom of yoga philosophy and applying that wisdom to modern day campaigns and politics. So our intention really is, if you are engaged in this election cycle, if you are helping on a campaign, whether you're paid or volunteer, to create really a deeper meaning and connection to the work that you're already doing. And if you are more into yoga, we've provided an opportunity to get to know a lot of really amazing candidates and organizations who are doing great work all over the state this election cycle. So providing you with ways and opportunities to get more involved. So in this week's class, we talked about Satya, and that means truthfulness. It is one of the yama in yoga, and it's the third yama that we've discussed. We've talked about ahimsa, which is non-harming. We've talked about asteya, which is non-stealing. And so now truthfulness. And to be honest, this is one of the easiest. Truthfulness is one of the easiest to draw a line or a connection from our yoga practice to our political practice. So at this time of year, you can't turn on your TV or open your mailbox without being bombarded with half-truths, manipulated truths, full-out lies, in negative campaigning. And so that's the easiest way to apply Satya to your political practice, is to avoid anything like that, any of these false truths, any lies, manipulating, misleading anybody. But that's not all that Satya is. It also involves a little bit of a deeper practice, and having to go a little bit more inward. So Satya can also mean, or does also mean, really knowing what your own truth is, being aware of it, finding your own truth. And in that term, it kind of in that sense, it reminds me of Dharma that we talked about several weeks ago, really thinking about what is our path in politics. What is our reason? What is the reason why we're doing what we're doing? So this is kind of connected to that. What is our truth? And starting to understand that a little bit more. But even more difficult is taking that truth and ensuring that what we show and do and how we live and, out to in the world and towards others is reflective of that truth. And that is where it can become a little bit more difficult and become a little bit more of a practice. So I like to think of the term of special interests, and special interests is kind of negatively charged. You think about big oil or big insurance, but really everybody has special interests that look out for them, and we should. We have. It's good to have people that are looking out for policies that affect you. Now, those people may not have as much money as some of the others. That's where we kind of run into a lot of trouble. But, having people that are looking out for legislation and policy and your interests is, inherently a good thing. And we all have interests that are important. And so just really tapping into ourselves and asking us, ourselves, considering our dharma and thinking about what is our truth, but then expressing that truth to others. And so that's where it can get a little bit more tricky. How do we ensure that our motivation is something that we are pretty plainly and clearly expressing, that we're not acting in a way with a secret agenda, with personal interest that we're not really expressing. And so that's how we apply all of this, and apply this yoga practice to our political practice. There's a great quote by Deborah Adele. She says, "The jewel of Satya, truthfulness, isn't safe, but it is good. Truth has the power to right wrongs and end sorrows. It is fierce in its demands and magnanimous in its offerings." And I just think that that's a great quote to really reflect on our own truths and how we express those truths to others. It's not necessarily the easiest way, but it is the best way. So really considering that in our yoga practice. And there's also another element to Satya too, which involves really having a kind and compassionate truth. You know, we have truth that also upholds ahimsa, non-harming. And so that's another element too, you know, just really being compassionate and thoughtful in our communications and in telling the truth. So with that all in mind, we'll just do a short practice and just a little easy stretch here, and if you weren't able to join us today. So we're just going to start with our hands on our knees, closing our eyes and connecting with our breath. Breathing in through our nose and out through our nose. And on our next inhale, we're going to lift our arms up above our head, and we're going to look at our fingers as our touch. We're going to let our throats really shine out, imagining just kind of the golden light of truth telling, of honesty. And as we exhale, we'll bring our hands back to center. As we inhale, we'll lift our arms back up, looking up towards the ceiling, letting our neck shine out. And as we exhale, we're going to twist to the right. So we'll bring our left hand to our right knee and our right arm directly behind us as we look out over our right shoulder and reconnect with our breath, breathing in through our nose and out through our nose. On our next inhale, we'll lift our arms back up overhead, looking up, and then exhaling to the opposite side, bringing our right hand to our left knee, our left arm behind our spine, looking out over our left shoulder and reconnecting with our breath, in through our nose and out through our nose. On our next inhale, we'll lift our arms back up overhead, looking up towards the ceiling, exhaling our hands down to our side. And then next we're going to bring our left hand to our chest as we reach out over to this side, reaching out over to the right side, connecting with our breath, really feeling our chest move. And then inhaling to lift our arm up and over, taking a nice little stretch here. Exhaling to bring our hand back down by our side, bringing our left hand down, and then bringing our right hand to our chest. On our next exhale, we'll stretch our arm out over to the opposite side, connecting with our breath. And then inhale, lifting our arm up and over, finding a nice stretch here. Breathing in through your nose and out through your nose. On our next exhale, we'll bring our hand back down to our side. We'll release our right hand to the floor. And from here, we're just going to extend our right leg out in front of us. So we'll bring our left foot inside of our right thigh. We really want to be squared off to that right leg so it's directly out in front of us. We'll inhale our arms up above our head. We're going to look up towards our hands, then look back down in front of us as we keep a flat back and fold over our leg as far as we can, keeping our back flat. Eventually, we're going to release our hands down to wherever's comfortable. We're going to release our head and release our neck. Connecting with our breath here, breathing in through our nose and out through our nose. On our next inhale, we'll lift our arms back up overhead. We're going to look back up towards our hands and then exhale our hands back down to the floor. From here, we're going to shift so that we have our left leg extended and our right foot's on the inside of our left thigh, squaring off to that left leg. It's directly in front of us. We'll lift our arms up above our head. We're going to look up towards our hands, bringing our head back down to center, folding over our leg as far as we can, keeping our back flat, and then releasing our hands to wherever's comfortable, releasing our head, releasing our neck, and connecting with our breath, breathing in through our nose and out through our nose. On our next inhale, we'll lift our arms back up. We're going to look at our hands overhead. As we exhale, we'll bring our hands back down by our sides, and then we'll just take a moment here, taking a couple more breaths together, closing our eyes, breathing in through our nose and out through our nose. Really taking this opportunity to connect with our truths, allowing ourselves to be brave and letting that truth shine out to others. All right, well, thank you guys for joining us for these few minutes, and I hope you can join us next week. We're doing a self-care, a pre-election day self-care voting yogis. So whatever you're doing, whatever campaign you're working on, we hope you can join us. We are all going to need it going into the following Tuesday. So hope to see you then. Thank you.